Solano County committees, and I just felt a little guilty that I never put in time with Napa or the city. So and I'm not one to complain, and if I complain, I better be in a position to change it. So I just thought I'd start with this, and moving kids and people are my number one focus for my whole life.
Thank you, Mrs. Lederer. It's time to bring it home, I think. Thank you for that. So what is your understanding of the role of Parks and Community Services Commission?
Just as an advisory, for the school district, I did a lot of playground design and play structure design with the new schools that we opened up during my years with Fairfield. So I'm very well versed in that. I spent 18 years coaching varsity swimming at Fairfield High. So I had all the credentials that I need for aquatics, and I understand aquatics a lot. It has been my main focus for many, many years. So I believe in playgrounds, and getting people to move and be physically active is crucial, and I have the expertise in that.
Thank you.
Good evening, Ms. Lederer. My name is Miriam. Thank you for being here with us tonight. My question for you is, what is your favorite park and or recreational program, and why?
Bottom line is the wetlands. I am out there every day. I do 6 to 8 miles walking every day, starting from here at Elliott Park. And I know most of the, quote, regulars that are out there. And I'm familiar with the fish and game rangers that drive out there, and with the city people who are out there. It is my number one focus for American Canyon, because that is a jewel that I don't want to see let go. And I think there's a lot more we can do with communicating with Fish and Game and the city, you know, because when I first started walking, when I retired 3 years ago, you know, I would call the city. They were very nice about it, but you know, they said, well, we can't help you. That's the Fish and Game thing. Well, there's got to be some kind of communication. And also with Newell Ranch, with my work with the physical activity program with Solano County, I am familiar with the Solano Trust, and I work with them on that committee. And that Lynch Canyon, is backed up to Newell, and I think there needs to be a lot of communication between the two.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Cindy, thank you for being here and interviewing with us. My question to you is, what would you like to focus on if we put you on the commission?
The wetlands.
All right.
That's my number one focus. I will help with aquatics because that is my background and I know it well, backwards and forwards. I've trained lifeguards, and I've worked with the city of Fairfield with their pools, and with the school district with their pools. So I also belong to, I'm past president of the California Association on Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance. That's our professional association within the state. I am legislative council chair for that association, and I'm familiar with all the laws that govern district pools as far as the school district is concerned. And I just have a lot of expertise that I can give as an advisor.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, Ms. Lederer. This is Pierre Washington. Thank you for your participation tonight on our Parks and Community Services position. My question for you is, what is your favorite special event here in American Canyon and why?
Well, anything having to do with going out to the wetlands, but I do enjoy the tree lighting and the 4th of July.
So you must have really liked the story that was just went out from the city council. Thank you.
Okay, well, that would conclude our interview for this evening. Really appreciate you taking the time to sit in on an interview and your interest
No problem.
on the commission. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Hi, Mayor. Before we move on to the next candidate, I have a question. How would you like to announce the results for the planning commissioners? Would you like to announce them after the meeting or?
Hey, Jerry, I want to make sure we double check the numbers real quick. So
Okay.
I'm not sure that we're quite ready yet, but the question is important, Mayor. Do you want us to do in the middle of the meeting here? Or we want to wait till the break?
Well, since we have a rather lengthy interview, I think, this evening, and we'll have a lot of people waiting around for the planning commission results, I think when we get those, there'll be a good break here when we tallying up right. Probably at that time, if we have it, would be a good time to do it.
Okay, we'll go back and double check the numbers and be right back to you after this.
Council want to weigh in on that?
At least after this round of interviews between finalists. So after this round, we should announce the plan.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Sounds good.
Hi, Clarence.
Hello, everybody.
Clarence, how are you?
Doing well, thanks. Hope all of you are doing well as well. Also,
Since we can't see your face.
there we go.
Yep.
Hi.
Hey, there you are. Hi. All right, give me a second here. Okay, well, good evening and welcome. Thank you for being here this evening. We each have one question for you and have allotted about 10 minutes for each this interview. Okay, so with that being said, again, welcome, and please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on the Park and Community Service Commission.
Of course. My name is Clarence Mammerl. I am a resident. I've been a resident of American Canyon since 2004. I'm a current PCS commissioner, also a local lawyer, musician. I also help coordinate a student wellness group for the Napa Valley Educational Foundation. And after 7 years as a commissioner, I know there's a lot more work to be done. And I think I'm in a good position to help that. I do have connections to quite a few local groups, and I would look forward to doing more in the position.
Thank you. So, what are you've been on there for a while, but what is your understanding of the Parks and Community Services Commission?
Well, it's to advise all of you. But that, of course, is what's on the website and what's on the printed paper. Okay. The more nuanced role is to work well with staff and our volunteers, to embrace the people of American Canyon and all their varied personalities, and also to encourage their sharing of their time and talent for the betterment of our community. And I'd like to think that I'm a model for that. I mean, I'll go out in the silly costume. I'll go out, with the music. I'll be there. I'll be there participating as heavily as I can, and as much as I can. And I hope that is I hope that encourages our other residents to do that as well.
Thank you.
Good evening, Clarence. Thank you for being here.
Hey, Miriam.
Good to see you.
Mhm.
What is your favorite park and or recreational program in American Canyon, and why?
Community Park 2 is my favorite. Not just for the park, which is beautiful, but also for the memories. Our many 4th of July celebrations, the event where we talk, where KTVU, the television program, showed up and just really highlighted it. I mean, that was special. So all the memories there are great. And favorite program is one we still need to get off the ground, and I have high hopes for pickleball. Okay? We had great plans for pickleball, including reaching out to a pickleball ambassador in Napa, and then COVID struck. So I would really like to. I'm very enthusiastic about that because I think that's a sport that I can do, and I'd really like to I'd really like to do that. I want to make that my favorite program as well as a favorite program for other American Canyon residents.
Well, thank you for that, Clarence.
Clarence, welcome. And I will vouch for you. You were more than happy to wear the crab outfit at our crab feed. So you're there. Clarence, we'll have to modify this a little bit. And my question is, what would you like to focus on since you are on the commission if we reappointed you to the commission? What would you like to focus on?
There's quite a few areas. The first would be mentorship. We're going to have a new commissioner, possibly two if you all select Karina for planning, but at least one. So I think my role, because I am the commissioner that has had the most experience so far, currently has the most experience and the most institutional memory. So I would take our new commissioner under really help them out, show them the ropes. Another area, keep adapting to our COVID world. The Parks Department has done a great job of doing that. We'll need to do more, I think, for the foreseeable future. Also, I'm on the board of the California Parks and Recreation commissioners and board members, and I'll be actually appointed as the vice president of that organization. So that's the California, that's the broad California organization for commissioners, for parks commissioners and board members. So I would love to continue my role there and help bring the information from California to our city, and also to let California and other commissioners out there know about the great things that American Canyon has done. I've already written an article, and I've shared that with them, and we'll be doing more. So having that connection to the broader community, the broader commissioner community, I think is important. Also a new focus for me. Mental health and wellness. Using our parks and programs for the mental, as a source of betterment and mental wellness for our residents, especially our students and seniors. This pandemic has created a mental health crisis that we are that we are just exploring. So my experience with my most recent experience with the NVF Student Wellness Group, I think would be very helpful in encouraging the mental health of our residents.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mammerl. How are you?
Hello, Councilor Washington.
My question for you this evening is, what is your favorite special event in American Canyon and why?
Well, I love our big ticket events, Snow Day and 4th of July. Essentially, any event that I can help out with music. But on a personal note, I'm going to bring my little office friend out here. I really love Star Wars. I really love Star Wars Day. Not just because I love Star Wars, but also because it's a great example of our Parks Department being able to think outside the box. So being a part of that from the very beginning has been just a source of joy for me.
Thank you, and you've always been a great ambassador for American Canyon, so thank you.
All right, well, Clarence, thank you for spending time with us and your interest in continuing your service on the Park and Community Services Commission.
Oh, you're very welcome. It's good to see you all.
Good to see you too. That concludes our interview. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And our next candidate is?
Hi, Mayor.
Oh, Kathy Margolotti. Yes. Okay.
So the votes they're tallied and they're ready to go, and we just would like to know, I would like to know, how would you like to move forward?
We're going to finish these interviews.
Finish
and
these
then-
interviews?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Between
then-
the round one and round two of the
Okay, alrighty.
Parks and Community Services Commission. All right.
Okay.
We have a few
I'll
more
bring
to
in the
go.
next person.
Uh-huh.
There's 4 men left there. Hi, Kathy.
Hi, good evening.
We can hear you, Kathy. So,
Hi, how are you?
all right.
Oh, there you are. Good evening. Good to have you here. Okay, so everybody you can hear us okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, all right. We can hear you too. And we can see you too. All right. Well, thank you for your interest in continuing your service on the Parks and Community Service Commission. We each have one question for you and have allotted approximately 10 minutes for the interview. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to be on the Parks and Community Service Commission.
All right. So my name's Kathy Margolotti. I'm a resident of American Canyon since 2002. Moved here with my young family at the time. And now I've got a college graduate and one that's a junior in college and one that's a high school sophomore. So been a parent, got to have them be a part of all the programs and fun activities, be involved in the community sports activities, have been involved in being a part of board member positions and different organizations that my kids have been a part of. I'm a teacher at Donaldson Way also. that's a little bit about me and my family and my background here. As far as being a part of the commission, a few years ago, I had taken a little break from being a board member and was looking for other opportunities to get involved and serve our community. I love American Canyon. So I had applied at the time to be a commissioner with the Parks and Community Service and was appointed. Didn't really know a lot going in and have learned so much and feel like there's so much more to learn. Had the opportunity to attend the California Regional Conference for Parks and Community Services. And that was a real eye-opener going in as a commissioner and going to a conference where it's not my profession. And I had the opportunity to really learn a lot and just see how wonderful our parks program is, how they're doing so many of the wonderful things that they're putting out there as ideas at conferences that I attended. And I would just love the opportunity to continue to serve and be a part, continue learning. And, our parks and our programs are what bring quality of life to our residents. And that's so important always, especially now. And I just love the opportunity to be a part of that.
So, thank you, Ms. Margolotti. Thank you very much. So what's your understanding of the role of Parks and the Community Services Commission?
Well, as you know, we've heard this evening, I know it's an advisory board. An advisory board as far as the department coming and asking for feedback and getting our input. An advisory board as far as listening to community members, hearing what they have to say, being a participant in the community and being able to give that feedback as well. Additionally, being a part of different subcommittees so that you can go dive a little deeper, be able to help and give input in that way. And again, like I said, listening to the community members' needs and hearing what's out there, what it is that the community wants to focus on.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Good evening. Thank you for interviewing for this position, or for, I was going to say re-election, but reappointment. So my question to you is, what is your favorite park and or recreational program in American Canyon and why?
Okay. So, it depends. I would say I can tell you my favorite park now. It's certainly changed over the years because of my kids being little to my kids being older. And that probably changes too with programs as well. At the moment, it's the wetlands. I love it. And one of the biggest reasons why is it's something that everybody, no matter what age they are, can be out there and enjoy. There's something different to see. There's people that, brings the community out there. You're always seeing different people, even though it's at a distance. You get to socialize. Kids are out there on bikes, the nature, just there's, whatever path you decide to take, all the program possibilities that are out there, the new fitness equipment that's out there, the potential for Clark Ranch and what it can do and what it can bring to our community. I mean, it is an absolute beautiful gem of a location. So that's definitely my favorite. Programmatic or program, I would say aquatics. That's kind of something that comes from my heart. Big aquatics family, from my husband growing up through college to my kids. Again, it's the same kind of thing. It's something that appeals to everybody, whether they're little to senior citizens. It's something that everybody can access, and just amazing things are going on, and especially just during this time of COVID, and what a role model that the aquatics program has had in developing different protocols for having pools open during this time and being able to provide that. I'm constantly amazed with the program offering the improvement, what's going on there. So that would be my program.
Thank you.
Kathy, my question for you is, what would you like to focus on if we reappoint you to the commission?
Mm-hmm. And I could say, like I was listening to Clarence too, there's so many things. It's hard to like pinpoint and focus because it's kind of there's just so many wonderful things that are going on out there and potential and possibilities. I would love to see a dedicated funding source for our parks that are currently in our city and continue to maintain them so our residents don't have closed parks, but they're constantly have our parks open. I would love to see our parks continue to evolve in ways that can be more inclusive of kids that have maybe physical disabilities or, you know, other challenges that park equipment might not be fit for them. Recently, I just started the Senior Stakeholders Committee, and what's interesting for me there is I'm not quite there yet, but apparently I'm in that aging adult population, and and it's not just senior citizens. It's supposed to be serving all adults, and when I think, I mean, of course, I don't think of myself as there, but I'm getting AARP stuff, but it's serving there's a lot of people who are adults who are not yet retired, yet there could be programming there that might meet their needs as well. And, you know, I have my in-laws who are seniors, technically in my eyes, but I'm going into that as well. So there's a big range. And I think that's really interesting to me, being on the younger end of that. But that's definitely something I like to focus on. And then I would love to, I'm so happy at all the different grants that have been written and the doors that have been open for our projects that are out there that have been pending and waiting for funding sources. And so, you know, I'd love Clark Ranch to happen. I would love to see a lot of those different projects that are out there find a way to actually happen. So not sure how, but that would be something I'd love to see happen.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Hello, Ms. Margolotti. How are you?
Fine, thank you.
I love how you just made Councilmember Joseph and Mayor Garcia smile when you talked about the senior citizens in American Canyon. My question for you tonight is, what is your favorite special event here in American Canyon and why?
I would have to say the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's a tradition. I love how it brings out everybody. I've been going out there since my kids were little. It's still something they want to participate in, even though they're big kids. I love how it's evolved, continues to evolve, but it just brings everybody out. And it's something that everybody really looks forward to and really missed this last year. And it really gives us a sense of community. And that would be my favorite for that reason.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep. You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. Well, that concludes our interview. So
okay. Thank you. Hi, Mayor. The next applicant, Amit Michelle, was contacted, no response. And the last candidate to interview is Charlie Plummer. Kevin Ryder also was contacted and no response.
Okay. Just making a note here. Okay, are we ready for Charlie Plummer, our next candidate? Okay. I think everybody's just catching up on this. Oh, there's Ms. Plummer. Good evening. Welcome. Good to have you here.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your interest in serving on the Community Service Commission. Okay, I think we're ready here. Again, welcome. We each have one question for you and have allotted approximately 10 minutes for this interview. That being said, please tell us a little bit about yourself and why you want to serve on the Park and Community Service Commission.
Sure. I'm a military brat. I've traveled all over the world. Very fortunate to learn diversity and cultural diversity and language and music and art. My wife and I are from Southern California, and we've recently relocated up here to American Canyon about 4.5 years ago. So we rented a home near Silverado Park just to kind of get a lay of the land. And we were actually looking at houses in Napa and Petaluma and all different locations. Work had brought me up here. And we fell in love with the community events, the parks and recs, and just everything about the city, the involvement, the diversity of it all. And so we settled on staying here. And now, going on 4.5 years, we're in our third home, and we finally found the home that we really wanted to put our roots down in. Myself, I work for a winery here in Napa Valley. I run national and global sales for them. My background, though, I've served on advisory boards for the Art Institute, which is a culinary art institute in Southern California. I served on an advisory board for Operation Homefront, which helps with wounded warriors that are coming back from deployment. I've also served 5.5 years on my private community HOA, which may not sound that glamorous, but we also housed a natural preserve within our community, which required a lot of work with the local EPA, Army Corps of Engineers, and with Fish and Game, because there was a water salamander breeding habitat that we had to preserve as part of our community. So it was a lot of work and a big learning experience for me. But for me, I really look at Parks and Rec as one of the reasons why I'm here. And I've got 2 boys, one at Donaldson and one at the middle school now. And we feel very fortunate to have all the events and activities that we can participate in as a family. Particularly here with COVID now, I don't travel as much, so we've been doing a lot more together. But Parks and Rec really is near and dear to our heart. And being newer to American Canyon, I really appreciate everybody that serves the community. And I've always been a big public servant myself, and so I want to express my interest in being a part of this community in a bigger way.
Thank you very much, Mr. Plummer. Can you tell us what your understanding is of the Parks and Community Services Commission?
Yeah, I mean, going last it's fun. I get to hear all the questions. So, the advisory role, obviously, but, when I looked at the website, I also saw that there was a master plan. So I got to imagine that there's got to be a refinement to the master plan as the city continues to grow, and that there's an adjustment and a pivot point to that master plan so that we can continue to, refine the Parks and Recs master plan for the general plan, because I've learned a little bit about the general plan as well too. But certainly gathering community input, learning to access and redeploy resources, whether that's it's actually manpower resources or funding resources. I certainly think those are things that are generally what would fall under this commission's role to help with advise for the city council to make more informed decisions. So that's my general understanding of this role.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Plummer. Since you heard me tell everyone thank you, I'm not going to tell you thank you. I'm just joking. Thank you for being here this evening. My question to you is, what is your favorite park and or recreational program in American Canyon, and why?
Yeah, I mean, like Margolotti before me, my kids are, as they've grown, and now that we're in our third home, it was Silverado and Shenandoah, and then another park, and now we're closer to wetlands, so we utilize the heck out of the wetlands trail and up and down there. So it's there's so many different things that we really enjoy about that, and we're big fans of the exercise equipment that's been put in. And I've heard a lot of this with senior use because it is so used. And I know Cindy Lederer, I see her out there all the time. But I'd like to see that duplicated or replicated on the east side as well too. We talk about east and west as far as the city goes, and you look at the diversity of that. I could see more mixed use equipment that can be implemented throughout the different parks, because to another person's point before, as people graduate off the smaller equipment into larger equipment, we've got to find other ways to utilize them. And then certainly the equipment that's down at wetlands now, I value quite a bit because it's low impact and it's body weight, but I see a lot of senior use and physically handicapped use out of it as well too. So I think those are things that I really I support myself, but I also enjoy and want to see more use of.
Thank you.
Charlie, thank you for being here and being part of this interview. My question for you is, if we appoint you to the commission, what would you like to focus on?
Yeah, I think, the way I visualize things is what's existing, right? And so if we look at programs or activations that are existing, how do we continue to maintain, or how do we continue to refine or redevelop or improve those existing programs or systems, or how do we continue to apply resources or funding to those existing parks or programs? And then we talk about the city as it's growing. How do we involve or create new development, whether it's open spaces or parks or plannings or events, as the city becomes more diverse? And as we talk about the master plan, we heard with the planning commission people before, is how do we incorporate these parks, and how do we continue to incorporate new development in open spaces, or do we develop new open spaces? Do we just improve the ones that are existing? And then how do we bridge the connections between those different parks and places so people can easily move through those and make those more accessible? So I think for me, rather than isolating to one, because there's so many, we have to look at the critical path of where the city's going, what parks are being implemented, how do we continue to affect and maintain the existing infrastructure of those parks and things, and then how can we continue to develop new parks or new programs that the city is asking for, or that we think we can develop without impacting the natural preserve and the nature that we have. I mean, that's what we really want to make sure we preserve, that integrity of our open spaces and our natural land. I'm a water baby too. I know a lot of people talked about swimming, and I was a water safety instructor in top, but I also paddle with the Ohana Outrigger canoe paddling team in Napa, and I use the waterways quite a bit. And I know there's been talk about boat launches and things like that, and so that's another thing that I expressed interest in, is how can we utilize some of our space to get into non-motorized boating that's not impactful to the waterways out here.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Plummer. How are you?
Mr. Washington, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I'm sure you have no idea of the question I'm about to ask.
I know exactly. Go ahead.
What's your favorite special event here in American Canyon, and why?
4th of July and May the 4th, I think are fun. We're Star Wars fans too, but I will just say what I absolutely love about this community and why we stayed is the cultural diversity of all the events that are done. No one's mentioned Holi, I think, which is a cool event. The Easter events, the snow days, the tree lighting. Those things are what keep families here. Those things are the memories that are created within this community. And I think, again, when you look at it, what works and what doesn't work, you continue to refine those events, and you continue to improve them and add to them and add layers of complexity and more involvement, more accessible to more people. And so it's not a simple answer, Pierre, as you know. I mean, I love them all, but 4th of July to us is to, like what Margalotti was saying, is it brings a lot of the community together, from the police department, the fire department, to the Kiwanis clubs. Everybody marches up and down that road, and everybody gets to see it, and everybody gets to show off a little bit, from the Taekwondo kids to this to that. I mean, it's the epitome of community involvement. Yes, night out is awesome, and yes, but everybody shows up for 4th of July, and I think it's special. And I think, again, it's evolved, and we've only been here a short time, but it can continue to be refined. And I'm new to the community, but I think I can bring a lot of fresh and interesting perspective. And again, a more of a macro level vision of how things can process, and the type of input I can give to the council.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, that concludes our interview. So thank you very much for being part of it.
Thank you for having me here.
Charlie. So he's back over here.
So are we waiting on the planning commission?
The mayor is tallying himself up.
Yeah, I'm putting my together here.
Oh, okay.
Hey, everybody get their ranking worksheet in?
Yeah.
I'm still struggling over a couple, but I'll
Okay. Take your time. I'm gonna.
When you complete your ranking worksheet, please contact me again. And I'll tally that up and then we'll go to round two.
So if I may make a procedural suggestion, I think we go on intermission here. We tally the votes, and then we announce the planning commission, and then the next five, and then we'll go into the final round.
Yes, that's the plan. Exactly. Yes, very good. Thank you. All right.
So Mr. Mayor, we can go into intermission now.
We're going to intermission. Yes. If well, I'm just about to turn mine in now. How's everybody else doing?
Ready to go.
Please
We all
mute
done?
your microphones.
Good.
So we'll be back in a few moments after intermission.
Mr. Joseph, are you all done? Should I make a call, or is there somebody else on the line?
I ended up leaving Cherry a message, so I may call her back, or she can read my my voicemail.
Yes, the next person may call, and then I'll check your voice. I'll check the voicemail for yours, Mark.
Thanks.
I'm ready for.
Okay, I'll call you right now, Chair.
Thank you.
Hey, Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I've got my earpiece in now because I'm actually at home and kids are sleeping. So okay, I can't have the full noise on.
Yeah. Fair enough. Well, that didn't take as long as I thought, but having 3 people drop out helps. Looking forward to the next batch.
We're in the home stretch.
Is it my turn or not yet?
I think David's on the phone and then you're next.
Okay.
2 minutes. right? You're dutifully hanging around.
This is a big night.
Yes, it is. Wow. Great to see that much interest. You know, in the past we've had to go out and cast the net again.
They were all really good candidates.
Yeah.
You guys have a tough choice.
Hi, Miriam. I'm waiting on you.
Checking in. How we doing? Everybody get their ranking sheet in?
I'm done.
All right. And I guess it must be Cherry's just tallying it up.
And I left a voice message, so she's probably listening to that too. But I think she's got everybody.
So it will probably be a few minutes before she gets the next five tallied up. Just wanted to make sure that everything's still going. We don't want to make any pivots or any changes to the questions or anything else everyone's feeling okay with.
Yeah, other than, like I said, I tweaked mine, but I did that originally, so.
Right. The point of, I think it's question number 2. No, the point of this next question number 1, Mayor Garcia, is really about the individual nature of a commissioner versus the overall commission. And in my mind, what I was looking for here is how this person would be out in the community, being an ambassador, listening to constituents about park and rec issues and that sort of thing. So it's sort of a different role than the commission as a body plays. And I know some of the applicants may not have understood those distinctions, and they kind of answered the first round from an individual perspective. But the point of this first question was for that individual perspective.
Should we make it a point to clarify that, contrary to what you think the role of the commission is, what do you think your role as an individual on the commission? Just so that it's understood.
I was thinking maybe, Mayor, if you might figure a way to put the word individual in that sentence. So please describe your individual role as commissioner. That should be a good trigger. Yeah,
looking at it, to be honest, I thought it was the same question. I was thinking, okay, this will be a good test to see if they change their mind over the course of an hour.
How does this sound? Let's just work with what we got. Please describe your understanding about your role as an individual commissioner.
Yeah, I think that will be a good trigger. You know, of course, if somebody says, well, I get to tell everyone what to do, I'm in charge, then you have an understanding about their perspective.
Just a reminder, we're live now. It's just a sign that's there, that's all.
Oh. Thank you.
That's some good questions. Appreciate the depth of it. Okay, we have results for the Planning Commission. The top two ranking are Andrew Goff and Crystal Malari. And they're still tallying for the Parks and Community Service Commission. I think there's an opportunity here to write a computer application that takes care of this.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a suggestion while we're waiting here? Once everybody is back and we get moving on to the new thing, could you just re-announce the planning commissioners? It just felt a little unceremonious and.
Well, I thought that's because we're on break.
No, we're live here.
Oh, are we live right now? Oh.
Yeah. Everybody can hear us right now. The sign is momentarily. So.
All right.
Yeah. So.
Well, I certainly will. For those who are listening out there in the audience, I'm very pleased to announce that the two top on the ranking worksheet were Andrew Goff and Crystal Malari for the Planning Commission. We certainly appreciate all the interest in those applicants who came forward and interviewed. Very good questions, very good responses, I would add, from everybody who interviewed. I would encourage those who were not selected to be certainly engaged in the community out there. And there's always opportunity to serve. We appreciate your perspective and what you bring to the community as well. So thank you for taking the opportunity to interview. We certainly appreciate your interest in serving the community. And there'll be plenty of opportunity, I think, in many areas of the community to be actively engaged. And thank you. And Vice Mayor, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I thought we were in a breakout room. Apparently not.
Yeah. So, no, I just hopped on YouTube and I'm just seeing if it was making noises and heard myself talking. And I was like, this.
Oh, well, thank you for checking that out. You know, this has been, I can't remember a time when we've had this many applicants to serve on these commissions.
It's amazing. I'll tell you this, for me, and, I want to congratulate the two commissioners for the Planning Commission on their reinstatements and all the others that have applied as well for stepping up. When I got involved in the city, or even in elections, I mean, up till about 2014, there was uncontested elections, or in 2016, I think it was. And, planning commissions and these commission meetings, I think, I don't recall as much interest. And I think, it makes while we've always called for more people to get involved, it definitely makes our decisions a little bit tougher. But it's definitely worth having more people involved. So thanks for everyone for stepping up.
I'll do it right now.
Yeah, I think it generates more interest in getting involved. And that's a good thing for American Canyon. You can hear the responses from those who have applied and what generates their interest, how they're involved.
Hi, Council. I apologize for the delay. There was an error, but if you don't mind calling me back, David, you can call first.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, whoever needs to call next, please call.
I'll call.
Okay, go.
Going.
So continuing that conversation and filling the dead air space, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you for filling it in.
Yeah, I think a lot of this, for the people that are just waiting eagerly, if we heard tonight was a lot of people attended the Citizens Academy. And it goes to show the importance of that Citizens Academy in engaging the local citizenry. I know I did it in 2017 and learned a lot. But I was already involved in the city in a lot of ways. But even though I sat on commissions and boards, I still learned a lot about the city. And I think that's done a good. It's a program worth keeping. And too bad we can't do it in person these days.
Yeah. No, I think it's been a real benefit, actually.
Okay, I'm done. Someone else call.
At the time that there was being thought of, it was actually an idea that Councilmember Ken Leary had discussed, and I raised my interest in that as well. And we had a couple of models to look at. I think we arrived at a very good one, I think. I've been in programs, somebody had mentioned Leadership Napa Valley. I'm an earlier class graduate. And it's a very similar approach, but it takes several months to get through it because it's Friday a week type of thing. What I thought was really fun with our Citizens Academy is they do a planning commission meeting. I think a lot of us have participated in that. And then you think, till you have the knowledge, you think all this stuff can be done easily, but it's not. And then you find out, oh my goodness, it's a lot of work.
Well, the fun thing about that planning commission or that mock city council meeting is we get to play the angry citizen, as I like to so it's a good one. So if anybody's out there is watching and hasn't done it yet, I encourage you to do it. It's an awesome program, and not only that, the field trips are really cool, right?
They are.
Where water is, and
Yeah.
the wastewater treatment plant, which is always interesting,
Yeah.
but it's all connected together. So,
Yeah, it's not as, well, the takeaway is now you understand you have if you want to pursue it more, you can certainly find out more knowledge about it, but you realize, this stuff is not as simple as you turn on the tap and the water comes out, for example,
yeah.
Who you got to work with to get the highway done. How about finances? Where's the money come from?
Yeah.
The old Jerry Maguire thing, show me the money. Yeah. And, we want to make sure that, there's true costs and there's that fiscal responsibility to saying, I'm sorry, we can't make everything we want, but we'll work on prioritizing and do what we can.
Yeah. You spoke a little bit earlier. You can't remember this many people applying. How many people have applied before? Like, what was the high watermark for you before? 4, 5?
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably somewhere in that neighborhood. I think we've had a year where we actually had to go out and beat the bushes, entice people to apply.
It's fluctuated over the years, David. There's, like the mayor said, there's been years where we didn't have a choice. We've got one person to apply, so that was about it. And then there's been other years, this one probably being the most dramatic, where you have so many, we have to go through round, kind of a 2-round approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've never done this before, to my knowledge. Yeah.
I think we got close to it the last time.
Yep.
And then it settled in, and I think you're right. The Citizens Academy obviously creates some more informed and engaged residents. Combine that with more and more people running for office, who in turn get more and more people engaged, and so it is creating kind of some synergy, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Again, tougher to make decisions, but better that we have to make those tough decisions.
Yeah. I'm just making sure that Mr. Washington, Councilmember Washington's calling in to Cherry. Have you confirmed that?
Yeah, I've called her and she has all my data.
All right, so we're all in. She's doing the tally. And we will continue our over-the-air discussion. Well, Councilmember Joseph, to what you were saying, the vote count this last election was really high too. So we were, I think, for the first time in the 80% range, and the highest ever. So, I mean, obviously that had a little bit to do with the national elections, but the fact, I was very pleased to see that number.
It's remarkable for American Canyon. It really is. Yeah. Usually,
John Tudor would be happy. I remember almost every election he would kind of lament that our turnout is significantly lower than the rest of the county. So this time, I think we're at least in the hunt.
You know what? We're in the margin of error, I think, this time around. So I think Napa actually killed it. I actually posted about it. We were at 81.92%, and I think Napa City was at 86. So if you take a plus 3 to 5% margin of error. But I do know that in 2018, which was non-presidential year, we were only at 62%, which was scary. So I'm glad we got more there.
Yeah. Although I was reading about the national turnout was only around 67% or something, and I thought that was impressive. So maybe if we were in some other part of the country, we'd be pretty impressive with our turnout. Whereas over here, it's at 2/3 we're struggling. So, but it's a good thing.
Oh, being one of the first counties in California on the mail-in ballot, and in all the activity it's gone into encouraging people to, vote by mail. It's certainly proved very effective in California, particularly for us. Having been one of the 5 guinea pig counties on it, and I'm not aware of any major hiccups that got in the way. I think there's been a lot of effort to make sure people understood how you go about doing it.
I think the biggest difference is it simply takes longer. And, in exchange for maybe a 5 percentage point bump in the turnout, it's probably worth it.
Yeah, well, I'm sure over time they'll find ways of being able to expedite.
Yeah.
I think the area of probably the monitor is the ballots that need to be. I was talking with somebody because we were looking on our phones. I said, well, mine was in, it was completed. And he looked at his, says, something about my signature. Well, then there's an issue to follow up on. Maybe those can be reduced by some coaching on that.
My signature has evolved over the years. I don't know. I don't know what my signature looks like back from 98 or 94, when I first registered.
Mark, I don't know if you know this or if you planned on your camera's not on.
Yeah.
If that's the plan, that's fine. I just want to let you know.
Yeah. Theoretically, if all you can see is the screen, I figured it doesn't matter if people can see me or not.
Well, what are you doing? Catching dinner?
Yeah. I was gonna say,
light my screen out.
Dancing.
It's like 9 o'clock at night. I'm hungry.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I need to invest in some of that. Particularly the lighting.
Yeah.
Does that hook on the top of the computer, or is it a separate stand? Or
the version I got, there's a little suction cup that hooks up to any laptop, and the light is actually about the size of a deck of cards.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to be like too commercial here, but it's the Loom Cube, and it's pretty good. And I did my research on it, and I wanted something simple. I didn't want to. I've seen people set up very large lighting systems in their homes with green screens and all, and I'm like, yeah, that's a little much. So this is good. And I think, Miriam, your microphone is working a lot better. Although I think you might have the settings a little bit different off because you sound just a little bassy. Yeah, there's a button back there. You could try it and test it out, figure it out. So
you got to set yourself up in a sound studio there after a while. Huh? Wow.
was actually looking for like 5 seconds. I was considering getting a green screen because my Surface, for some reason, won't do a virtual background unless I have a green screen. It's really bad at the virtual background. But then I was like, I'll just use my laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, my Surface Pro tends to freeze up. It's almost like there's not enough juice in it or whatever. So I've been using a regular desktop just because it seems to handle it more.
The green screen makes a big difference on virtual background, so you don't get this sort of like wavy.
Or the invisible hand.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, but there's currently no room for it in my house. Maybe.
Yeah, I've done a few interviews over at Napa TV, Channel 27, with the green screen, and I said, "Wow, you need a lot of space for that."
And Napa TV, that's like a green room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, they have them. They're like miniature, like slide projectors. They actually have some that you can just put on the back of your chair, so it's only like a small square behind you.
Oh, it's like this, huh?
Yeah, just like that. They've gotten creative with them.
There's a thought.
Yeah.
Oh, would I put something like that together?
So, like, David, when you said I sound bassy, does that mean like a deep tone?
It's a little bit, it's a muffled tone. So it's a muffled that's giving it a deep tone. And then usually there's a setting on there. Like mine has a couple of settings. I don't know what version you got. But on the back, there should be a setting for omnipresence or club or whatever. I don't know what version you have. Is there a button you can hit? We can test it out right now while we're waiting.
I'm only seeing this like
Napa County.
I'm only seeing this volume button, so I wonder if it's that or
Turn it up.
Okay, so this is all the way up.
Yep.
And then
You didn't hear you.
That's all the way down.
Go all the way up.
okay.
Go all the way up.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
It's all the way up now. But I'm wondering if I can do it through the computer.
Yeah, I don't know. Mine has like a couple of knobs in the back that tell you exactly for whatever different kind of room. So like right now it's just me standing by the mic. But if I was sharing the mic with somebody, you can share it with you can do it in a different setting.
So maybe this is not the mic for me yet.
Yeah, I mean somebody needs it if you don't want it, so then pass it along.
Well, it was Prime, so I can return it.
What brand did you get?
It's FL Fine. I don't know. I just picked one on Amazon. This one said top seller, so I bought it.
Okay.
So that muffle went away. I don't know what you did.
Oh, okay. So maybe like, is it better now?
To put it closer to you. I think you need to put it closer to you.
Wait, but when I do this, it's muffled, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what it is. When it's bent like this, it's muffled. When it's straight up, it's not.
Oh.
Right. So you're supposed to be speaking in that microphone. So, yeah. Remember and remember that signal I gave you the other day. You got to give the hang five sign. You got to be about far away from it.
Mahalo. Mahalo.
Yeah, so I need to have it like this close.
Yes, you sound a lot better.
Oh, okay.
And with the mic standing up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Learning, but this is like I'm holding it up because it's got a short stand. So maybe I need a taller stand.
Or a book.
Or a book. Or
one of those legal books will do.
If only
it might be too high.
Putting your law degree to work.
No,
and there you go.
Especially the hardcover ones, I'd use them a lot for this kind of thing.
Yes, they work out well, don't they?
Oh, they sure do.
Yeah, so there it goes. So no setting, it's just the way your microphone is placed.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you.
I was looking for my my grandson's Christmas present. It's in a box. It's like build a car set type of thing all over the house. And asked my wife, where was it? Well, she was using it for stand for her computer. Yeah, once it's the right height, what, 3 inches thick? You know, I can. Right for her.
Yeah, I may be switching here. It's bedtime for the kids, so I might be going to headset. I might be looking.
Yeah.
I was thinking that I think maybe some of our applicants might be in the same boat.
Yeah, we're getting there. Doing the tally.
Let me go check, see how it's coming along.
To those of you listening at home, thank you for hanging out with us in our chat.
And we apologize if we're not nearly as exciting as professional commentators.
Yeah. I got the equipment for it there at home, though.
Yeah.
A big microphone and
Proper lighting. Yeah. All you have to do is work on content.
yeah, work on it, which is the key.
Still working on it.
Cool.
How those noise cancellation earphones work? I've seen those out there.
So if you're gonna buy those, buy them now because it is cyber sales or whatever on Christmas.
Yeah.
And I bought mine a few years ago. After flying to Houston, there was a baby behind me, and I
Oh,
did
jeez.
from San Francisco to Houston. That was just colicky, and it was just the worst. I did my thing in Houston, and on the way home, happened to be my birthday, and at one of those airport shops, I was like, I'm gonna buy it, and then I couldn't buy it because it was so dang expensive, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's like $300.
Whoa.
Do it. And what I didn't realize at the time was I thought I was just going to use it for an airplane, you know, when you're just traveling in the air. But I use it everywhere now. I use it, well, nowhere now because you don't travel. But I used to use it on the ferry, on the train. It works great at Starbucks. It just absolutely puts you in a zone to where you can work almost anywhere and not hear anything if you wanted to. And they're great, like wireless headsets too. So now I'm the biggest fan. I'm like, if you can afford it and you have a semi-need for it, absolutely use it. And it's great sound system too. So noise canceling headsets work.
Is it like noise canceling even if you're not listening to anything? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, you might hear.
Worries me. I mean, the idea that you can't hear anything just.
You can hear big things.
Oh, okay. I mean, it just seems like you'd be oblivious to.
All the ambient noise is gone.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Mark, how's it going with your Snapchat account?
I've moved on to TikTok, Miriam. You know, that's yesterday's technology. I'm already on the advanced TikToking.
I didn't think you were a TikTok guy, Mark. I thought you were more like tic-tac-toe. So.
Oh, well.
Oh, we got Cherry.
All right.
Hi.
Hey, we're back here. Okay.
So the top 5 that will move on to the next round: Stephen Green, Gina Giggs, Clarence Mamero, Kathy Margalotti, Charlie Plummer.
Okay, hang on a second. Could you read those again, please?
Stephen Green, Gina Griggs, Clarence Mamero, Kathy Margalotti, Charlie Plummer. And the interviews will go in that order: Stephen Green first, Gina Griggs second, Clarence Mamero third, Kathy Margalotti fourth, Charlie Plummer fifth.
Okay, I'm going to read it back to you here, see if I got it right. Okay, number 1 was Stephen Green,
Yes.
correct? I'm doing
Yes.
it off my agenda piece here. Okay, next was
Gina Griggs.
2, okay. 3 is Kathy Bargalotti.
Clarence Mamerle is number 3.
3.
Kathy Margalotti is 4.
4th, yes, and Clarence.
Charlie Plummer, 5.
5. Okay, all right. Everybody got that?
Yes.
We have our round 2, Parks and Community Service Commission interview questions.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi.
We can hear you.
Well, thank you, Stephen.
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome to round 2. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We each have one question for you and have allotted 10 minutes for this interview, as we did in the last. Please describe your understanding as your role as a individual commissioner. Previous question was about the role of the commission. Now this is about you as an individual commissioner.
I would say that as an individual commissioner, I'd be an ambassador in many respects, not just as an advisor, but an ambassador. I would work very hard to attend as many events and programs as I could. So, that I can simply ask people, what do you think? What would you like? Where do you think we should go? What kind of programs should we have? I would also, as an ambassador, look to see if there would be a way that I could coordinate with the city to reach out for my particular interest, which is with the schools, to the instrumental and performing arts, the performing arts programs like instrumental music, drama, etc., over at the schools. And by the way, there's background noise. There's a lot of background noise. Okay. Sorry.
I see everybody muted except you and me.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, it's clear now. It's clear. Thank you.
Okay.
So for example, for my particular interest of bringing the schools and the city closer together, I would reach out to say Crystal and Jamie and Brendan up at the high school, plus the drama department up there, plus any of the other arts programs up there. I know folks, of course, through the at the district by being on the Parents Advisory Committee. So I look at that. I'd reach out to the arts foundations. Again, this is, in not doing this as a Lone Ranger or a solo, but totally in coordination with the city and both Parks and Rec. And then I would want to reach out to the middle school in particular, and see what we can do about pulling in the teachers and the students, and that's performing arts. But I also, want to do that for science as well. The beautiful thing about the city with S'mores and Meteors, for example, with and everything that the Parks and Rec has done with astronomy, is that it's the first, astronomy is a gateway science, and that's great. Let's look for ways to expand beyond just astronomy. What other kinds of science events? What other kinds of events in the city and the Parks and Recs could co-sponsor and be part of with the schools and with families that would bring more kids to science and math and basically STEM.
Thank you very much. My question for you: in the next year, the city will be updating its general plan. What is the most significant issue facing parks and the Parks and Recreation system?
Well, I would think always budget, having enough money to first maintain what we have and then expand. And again, the health of the economy is going to have a huge impact upon that. Also looking at, finding grants to be able to bring funds in either from the state or for nonprofits, NGOs, in to bring money to the parks and other sources of income. But first, maintain what we have in these difficult economic times, and then figure out how we can expand them. And also look for ways to expand that are essentially revenue neutral. And I would say that there are opportunities for that as well, particularly with the schools. There are a lot of things that we can do with the performing arts, a lot of things we can do with the science classes that would be revenue neutral, would be basically within our existing budgets, and that would still add value to the community and to the kids.
Thank you for that, and thank you, and congratulations on making it to round 2.
Oh, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Excellent. Please describe how you plan to engage with residents to learn about their ideas for the parks and recreation system.
As mentioned before, I'd be looking to attend as many events as I possibly could as a commissioner to be able to represent that role of being a liaison between the city and between residents. That's one piece. And then again, going out there and reaching out to the organizations like the arts foundations, to the schools. I would also like to look and engage with not only that, but also the Chamber of Commerce to figure out how we can get the Chamber involved in supporting these activities more. Recently they had a fundraiser and raised money for performing arts. Let's look and see how we can pull the businesses in. This is a community, it's a big family. And one of the things is the commissioner can do, I think, is to be the glue by getting out there and just talking with folks and reaching out, attending meetings and engaging. And then also looking for relationships out in the county that we maybe haven't found before. Maybe there are engineering societies, for example, that would be interested. There are, societies for science and for math, etc., also to pull in as well. I don't know if it's possible, but I'd like to try.
Anything is possible. Thank you.
Hey, Stephen. My question, you've actually kind of touched on a lot of it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. So how would you maintain parks and recreation services given the likelihood that we may have a tight budget over the next few years because of COVID or just in general?
How would I maintain it? Wow, I think that's a question where I'd really love to sit down with Jason and have a long conversation about finances. Again, if given that we've got, say, restricted revenue, then there are a number of things. The city's already looking at furloughs. Oh my gosh, I hate to do that, but it's probably necessary. I would really like to look at how it would be possible, and I don't want to step on any toes here because I think the commission's role is this is really kind of in a sense, the city manager's kind of role there, and I'm sensitive to that. But if there be some way that we as commissioners could help the city manager and help the city look for opportunities to find funding through federal grants, state grants, nonprofit grants, and hopefully reaching out and creating relationships with industries. We're getting I don't know if this is possible, we're getting a lot of warehouses built within the city. And we're getting a lot we're getting a lot of companies in there. Can we reach out? Can we engage with them more? Obviously the Parks Foundation is going out and probably hitting up folks as well. That's clearly a source of revenue, not a lot. We need more. But I think part of it is making sure that all of the businesses and all of the folks in town understand that you get what you pay for, and if we can't fund these things, they're not going to be there. And we need to look for alternative funding streams. So that's my best guess at this moment.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to round 2, classmate.
Thank you.
My question for you, Steve, is what creative, new, or fun park amenities, programs, or events should the city consider adding?
Something new, something blue, something borrowed. I would love to see a couple of things. One of them is I would really love to see the middle school and the high school performing arts be able to create an arts in the park program in the summer, even in the fall. I know we've got like the marching band. We were able to, disrupted by COVID, but we had the marching band marching at the Christmas parade, Winter Festival parade, and we had the middle school choir sing a bit. But let's go beyond that. Let's have a real arts festival in the parks that features our kids in town. I would love to figure out a way to organize that. Really showcase our kids. In that way, that connects the grandparents, the empty nesters, and folks who maybe have moved in who haven't had kids go through the schools district here, through the schools, to connect them to the kids in the schools, so that it's not just the schools, it's our schools, and these are our kids. And look at them perform, they're fantastic, we love them. And then the kids are able to show that, and it's a great confidence in building for the kids. It builds mastery in the kids. It just really makes a difference, I think. And we can do that by creating that type of a festival. And then on top of that, like a STEM festival. So one of our kids came up with Rube Goldberg, Chanel. She won the Rube Goldberg Award. I mean, wow, we've got kids out doing there. Let's maybe see if we can figure out a way to pull the schools in, and as a commissioner, to help the city do that and to create that glue between all these different organizations, and to get everybody talking together and get excited and get in there and provide these opportunities for our families. So it's all ages. And, so we've got the grandparents age, who come out and they just love it. And then we get that multi-generational community that is our big AC family all together, focused at a park, for example.
Okay, thanks, Stephen.
Well, Stephen, thank you. That concludes it.
Okay, thanks.
Just thank you for being here. We'll stay tuned. We'll inform you how this ends up this evening.
Okay, great.
All right. We ready for our next applicant? Yep. Gina Griggs.
Hi there.
Good to see you.
Good to see you as well.
This is round 2.
Round 2.
All right.
Ding.
Well, very good. Let me see. I got my answer sheet here somewhere. Here it is. Gotta find my questions here. So, as in the last interview, we each have one question for you, and we have approximately 2 minutes for this interview. So, this time, please describe your understanding of your role as an individual commissioner. As an individual commissioner. The last time we had commission as a whole, what would be your role as an individual commissioner?
Well, I hope Jason is still listening. My role would be clearly to tell everybody what to do and get my way about everything. No. My role as an individual, I would see that as first and foremost, attending all PCS meetings, attending all community events, talking to my fellow community members, be that at the wetlands, hiking Newell Open Space, walking around my neighborhood, sitting at Shenandoah Park with my dog, parents at the school, just talking to people, getting their feedback. What do you think our Parks and Recreation Department does? What would you like to see in our community? What would you like to see happen at our parks? What do you think is missing? What event would you like added to our calendar? How do you get your information? Where do you go for your information? Do you feel like information is disseminated in a way that is easily accessible to you? and getting their feedback, bringing that back to the meetings, sharing it with the group, and bringing it to City Council so that we can get a feel for the community as a whole. To work for our residents, to work for the community, to represent all age groups, making sure that there is safe walking trails for moms with jogging strollers, that they're not going to trip and fall on the sidewalk, that there's adequate lighting for them to see where they're walking, all the way up to the high schoolers, that there's bike paths for them to get to high school, that there's a safe way for them to cross the highway to get to high school, which is more of a planning commission thing, but it's definitely on my radar as something that I would like to see happen in our city. To collaborate with other committees and groups such as ACCPF, the schools, Open Space Committee, Planning Commission, and bring information back about what's going on with the school district as well. I'm also on the Parent Advisory Committee for NBUSD. And to just help plan these events, to get my hands dirty, to do the work, to do whatever Creighton asks me to do.
Thank you, Gina. So in the next year, the city will be updating its general plan. What is the most significant issue facing the parks and recreation system?
I think the most significant issue facing any of our programming is funding. I would like to see us get creative with our funding. I like to fundraise. It's one of the things that is near and dear to my heart for the benefit of students, kids, and community members. I am a big part of the ACHS Choir Crab Feed, and we didn't want to skip a year. And so even with COVID, we are pivoting and reassessing, and we are still going to have our crab feed on January 30th. It is going to be a drive-by pickup event. We're going to have a virtual auction. We're going to have a dessert auction. And we're hoping to get sponsorships so that all of the profits go straight back to the choir, because even in these times, you can't stop giving back. You can't say, oh, well, we're just not going to do it because we can't. You have to get creative. You have to find a way around. You have to make it happen. And I find a lot of joy in achieving those goals. So I look to things like partners and projects. Okay, we have to update a playground. Who are our partners in this project? Who's vested? Who has a vested interest? Who's going to donate? Can we give them a stone or a wall or something to say thanks? Those kinds of things. Because I think people do want to invest. They just don't know. They just don't know how. And these are things that are really important to our community members. So I think that we can always find a way. But I think funding is probably the biggest challenge. And then access to programming and activities, especially for people in our community that don't drive or have adequate transportation. And then communication. We always need to work on the communication piece, getting the word out so people know that it's happening, because it can be really disheartening to work really hard on something and then have nobody show up and then have people say, oh, I didn't know that was happening, but I would have come if I had known. So I think communication is always something that we should be working on and thinking about as well.
Excellent. Thank you. I'm so excited that the high school choir crab feed is still happening, but I'm so sad that we don't get to hear the kids, the choir and the band. The band was there last time, right?
Don't you worry. You're going to go home and enjoy your crab and sign on to YouTube and hear them sing.
Aw, that's amazing. So my question for you is, please describe how you plan to engage with residents to learn about their ideas for the parks and recreation system. I know you touched on it a little bit, but that's my question.
Reaching out to partnering groups, reaching out to fellow committee members, talking to my neighbors. Just, you can be just out in your front yard having a conversation with a neighbor, and they make a comment about the sidewalk or the lighting or the seeds that the trees are dropping, or did you know that there's a big hole under the swing at the park at Shenandoah? And these are important things to make note of and then bring back to the group. All the little things, I I guess my role is sort of to like compile all the little things that the community is saying and then take it back to the group to solutionize. And I think also to develop appropriate social media platforms or surveys. So just, you know, a way to get the people that are kind of stuck in their house, but really behind a computer, you know, send out a survey. What would you like to see in our community? Ask the question on the Facebook page, see what kind of engagement, you know, we get. You know, just new and creative ways to gather information to then go back and do the work.
Thank you.
Gina, you kind of alluded to it a little earlier, but I'm going to ask it differently maybe. How would you be able to maintain parks and recreational services given the likelihood that we could be in a tight financial condition for the next few years?
I think a tight financial condition is probably a state of almost all the cities, especially here in the Bay Area. But yeah, I did talk about partners in programming. So just maybe major partners in programming. Amazon is coming to our area. We have Coca-Cola, we have Biaggi, we have Mazzetti. You know, are these long-term partners in our programming and in our parks and in our play and in our open spaces that they would be willing to have their name up at a park, you know, new park sponsored by. It gets them advertising, it gets us the funding that we need. There are ways to make it happen without it coming out of the city budget. Calabria, they offer free programs for seniors in Napa. I know that they're willing to come down here to American Canyon so we can utilize them for our senior programming. And also, you know, I mentioned that my daughter took the private tennis lessons, and I know that when the price was set for that, it was probably like, I wonder if anybody's going to sign up. But I didn't feel like the price was expensive at all for an hour private tennis lesson. So I think that it's also okay to increase some program expenses because the cost of some programs, because you really are getting more than your money's worth. Our programs are not expensive and they're all wonderful. And then I would love to see in the future outdoor concerts and events at Clark Ranch, and that money go back to the city as well.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Gina, welcome to round two.
Thank you.
Yeah, my question for you is what creative, new, or fun park amenities, programs, or events should the city consider adding?
Well, interesting when you ask this question of Steve, which I'm so happy you're interviewing too, Steve, because I know that I'm not going to have to go first. I'm just going to go straight after you. A little benefit there. So I had a minute to think about it. When we first moved to American Canyon, on Saturdays and Sundays, we would walk to Shenandoah Park and there would be adult softball games going on. There were adult softball leagues sponsored by local businesses, and there were games. And it was so fun, and you would see families out there, you know, kids watching their parents play, parents having a great time, you know, the kids on the playground while the game was going on. And it was a lot of fun. And that only went on for a few years after we moved here, and then it stopped. And I would love to see that brought back. I think it's a really great, awesome weekend family activity that then you're not, you know, getting one kid over here and the other kid over there and divide and conquer and, you know, everybody's split in a different direction, but it's a really good, wholesome, family, fun thing to do that could also generate money for the city because you'd be paying to be part of the team, you'd be paying to utilize the field, and so it would help us to be able to maintain those fields and those park areas as well. I would love to see city competitions amongst the kids and residents and seniors. So, you know, pay $5 and come pick up a coloring sheet and have a chance to win a $50 gift card to Mi Zacatecas restaurant. So then you get the restaurant to donate the gift card and you get all the kids to pay $5 for a coloring sheet with a chance to win, and you've just generated all of this money from only a few dollars from all the kids to participate in this fun event that they can do at home from the safety of their home. And, you know, having hosted a very large Halloween party that quite frankly got too large for my house, the other thing that would be a lot of fun is if we could have a big Halloween party at the community center gym, have a costume contest, charge an entry fee. I think it would be a lot of fun. I think it would bring a lot of money in for the city. People would really enjoy it. People really enjoyed the trunk or treat this year that the city did. And I think that just goes to show how much our community is wanting family-friendly, fun Halloween events that are safe, that don't involve walking in the streets after dark.
Nice.
So,
Nice. When you mentioned the softball thing, I mean, playing softball would be something I'd like to do, but I'd be pure entertainment for everybody watching me fumble around out there in the field. So yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you.
and thank you.
Leon, you're muted.
I can't hear anyone.
Leon's muted.
Having a sneeze attack.
Bless you.
Thank you. Anyway, thank you, Gina. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Being here for the second round and sharing your thoughts with us.
Next up is Clarence.
Okay, next up would be Clarence Member.
All right. Hello.
Clarence, good to see you back for the second round.
You all too.
Good to have you here. So as I said in the last interview, we have each of us has one question for you. And we still have about 10 minutes set aside for each interview. This time, please describe your understanding of your role as an individual commissioner. Last question, the previous interview was about the commission as a whole. What's its role? What's your individual role as a commissioner?
Okay. The experience, my past experience on PCS has been wonderful because my answer to this question, although being an ambassador to the community is very important, but knowing the basics about the meeting formalities is also important. Getting to the heart of the matter in a good amount of time within the formalities of the basic meeting and not having meetings go over 3 hours long is, I think, an important role for each commissioner. And partnering over. I think what's interesting about COVID about this time is that the partnerships that we've developed by necessity during this time actually have been wonderful. I think the pumpkin giveaway, which was a combination of the Arts Foundation and Kiwanis and ACCPF. I mean, and the Halloween event, which was a combo of the Chamber of Commerce and so many other businesses. Perhaps they wouldn't have happened during COVID time, without COVID. So, let's take advantage of that, turn this whole situation into an opportunity, because we cannot do the things we do without effective partnerships. So I think being on the board of Kiwanis and the Arts Foundation makes me well situated to make those connections with the groups, as well as connections with the people.
Thank you, Clarence. In the next year, the city will be updating its general plan. What is the most significant issue facing the parks and recreation system?
Fee philosophy. A dedicated funding source for our parks. This is an issue we've worked on for years, and the fee philosophy subcommittee is very important for that. Unfortunately, the meetings got upended because of this time, but of course, we need to continue that. Maintaining and improving all of our parks, but in particular the wetlands and Newell. I'm talking about signage and promotion. This is not an expansion year for the city. It's not an expansion year for many cities. I suppose all the cities. So, we'll continue to need to provide practical solutions given our financial circumstances. And that's that's it. Yeah, straight to the heart of the matter.
Thank you, Clarence. Congratulations on making it to round 2. Please describe, Please describe how you plan to engage residents to learn about their ideas for the parks and recreation system.
Well, being out there is key. That's the first component. Being out there and accessible, and hearing, and then also encouraging the people to go from attendees to planners to being more active. You're all well aware that there's a certain percentage of residents in American Canyon that seem to do 90% of the work, right? That's all of you on council. That's the folks on the commission. That's the certain key people. Let's make more key people. And if it takes me being out there and being silly or sharing talents to encourage that, to inspire folks, hey, I love that stuff. There's also social media, of course, and that's an important component as well, but we have to have wisdom in using that. We have to sift through a lot of frivolities and a lot of irrelevant stuff to get to what's really important. So nothing will take the place of the personal touch.
Clarence, Mike, you've kind of hit on some of where I'm going, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How would you maintain parks and recreational services given the likelihood that we may have some tight financial years ahead of us?
Well, first, I want to commend council for maintaining a budget with the parks and recreation staff that didn't lose any of our full-timers. You laid the foundation for that, for the answer to the question. That we didn't lose all of that experience and just the love of our staff. Allows us to operate in this time. What we need to do is work with staff to reach out for our partnerships with ACCPF and the Arts Foundation and Kiwanis and the Chamber of Commerce. You know all the players, right? So continue to reach out to all the players. Oh, and also reach out to the larger community for their ideas. Kathy mentioned earlier about attending the CPRS conference, which is the California Parks and Recreation Society, the conferences, because they have great ideas. The California Parks and Recreation commissioners and board members, you know, the folks in the rest of the folks operating in the rest of the state of California, under these same constraints, reaching out to them for ideas. We do have, you know, regular meetings, and we talk about what's happening in our jurisdictions, and that's just, it's been a wonderful it's been wonderful to be a part of that. So ideas from the outside, ideas from the inside are going to keep us sailing through this time.
Thank you.
Hey, Clarence, welcome to round two. My question for you, what creative, new, or fun park amenity programs or events should the city consider adding?
I mentioned it in the first round, but I'll mention it again because it's directly applicable. Pickleball is something we were working on, and in my workshops at CPRS, we learned ways that it could be a revenue generator, which will be necessary during this time. And also, it's a hot activity right now, so you know we should get we should ride that wave as long as when we can. Another idea. Well, much to I insisted on a music subcommittee, and we were doing work on consolidating our local musicians, as well as sprinkling music in different events, and also hopefully working on a music event, much like Stephen and Gina talked about. To be honest, whether they are appointed as committee members or not, we need to keep them involved in this, because they're going to be essential in creating that type of event where we can showcase the talents of our American Canyon residents, especially our students. Other ideas, a newer one I had is hopefully some kind of a youth support group, similar to kind of what I'm working on with Filipino students, but maybe for other youth, with a focus on mental wellness and mental wellness and support for them. I've heard a lot of feedback about how we should keep the Halloween event as well, the trunk or treat event. So anyway, I think if we those would be the things that I would want to push moving forward.
Okay, well, pickleball, can you wear a headband and wristbands while you're playing?
You know, where, yeah.
Just trying to figure it out. Okay.
Well, pickleball is a tennis-like sport that is more accessible for us older folks and those of us who are like myself, who are not sports oriented. So, there's a thriving pickleball community in Napa that we were gonna tap that experience. Well, anyway, that's the plan.
I think the more important question, Councilmember Washington, is do we get to eat pickles?
Okay.
This could be the kind of event I could do well in, even if I'm not very good at it.
Oh, you know, the bocce ball court was great. And I think we're thinking about a similar thing, you know, with pickleball, with teams. And I mean, I still have the information from the conference about the different ways that can be a revenue generator.
Yeah, good thought. Yeah. I don't know, I was thinking sometimes for myself, I think maybe a Nerf ball might be a little easier way of getting around with that. But thank you. Appreciate you being here, Clarence, for the second.
Well, you're very welcome, and thank you for pushing us over to the next round.
We'll get through it eventually this evening. Thank you for being in there. Appreciate your responses. Okay, we're ready for our next candidate, which would be, where are we, number 4? Kathy Margolotti.
I'm here.
Hey, hello. Welcome back for round 2. Well, it's very similar to what we had with the previous round, excuse me. We each have one question for you. We have allocated about 10 minutes for the interview. Okay. So this time, please describe your understanding of your role as an individual commissioner. The last segment, we did the role of the commission as a whole. Now, what about your role as an individual commissioner?
Okay. I think there's lots of different roles that you take. As a commissioner, you are a member of the commission. You rotate through those roles, collaborating with the director, collaborating with park staff on programs, supporting them when they need. If there's something you're trying to advocate for that you really want to happen, showing up at council meetings or writing letters saying how important it is to you. When you hear that community feedback on what's going on, when there's time for items for future consideration at meetings, making sure to voice those and put those out there so it can be discussed. Continuing to educate yourself, reading relevant articles, attending conferences if they're available. I think, other than continue to keep your ears open and attending events and finding ways to continue to hear what the community is saying, so you can bring that your ear to the group on what you're hearing out in the community.
Thank you. In the next year, the city will be updating its general plan. What is the most significant issue facing the parks and recreation system?
I think, like everyone is saying, budget. It's huge. So with that being said, I know that there's a lot of items that have been in the budget, in the general plan. So prioritizing what is there, I think, would be really important. So therefore, when you are looking at what you're going to budget, what you're going to provide funds for, seek funds for, everything you've had in there, it's prioritized in what's important for the community, what can be realized, and finding that dedicated funding source as well.
My turn. Congratulations on making it to round 2.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Please describe how you plan to engage with residents to learn about their ideas for the parks and recreation system.
Attending events is really important. Listening to what's going on, reading what you see as comments on social media, next door, all of those things. I think something that I really valued at times, and I know it's only come up when there's been a reason to get that community feedback, but when you're out tabling at an event and you're seeking specific kind of feedback on how something's going, what types of things the community likes to see, I think having that ongoing conversation, finding where it might be most relevant. I know that that's a staffing issue, but I'm sure there's volunteers that can do that as well, surveys, ways to creatively get that community input on events. I think finding a way to build that in would be a great way to engage in the community other than just the regular attend events and keep your ear open.
All right. Well, thank you, Kathy. Everybody seems to be touching on the finances, but I'm still going to ask the question I need to ask, and that is, how about some ideas on how you can maintain parks and recreational services given the likelihood that we may have a very tight financial condition for the next few years?
I think one big thing, of course, is making sure that what you're charging for events is cost neutral, that you're not going into deficit by what you're offering. I know that with the aquatics programs this summer, it didn't bump it up significantly in a way that wasn't affordable, and we have groups that can support with scholarships with like ACCPF as needed, as available for families that can't afford that. Of course, seeking grants, I think, is something you would continue to do. Having those partnerships with local businesses, the Parks Foundation, engaging volunteers. So if there's ways that you can have volunteers doing things where you're not doing having paid staff, I think that, you know, that the system has been put into place for that. And if there's a way to continue to grow that system. And then, of course, this isn't my area of expertise, but I know that when you have new building and construction coming in, I think it's really important to make sure that you are, I don't even know what the correct word is, but they are coming to our community. Therefore, we are going to request that you put in the park, that you're going to help put in or contribute towards the budget in some way. I think that that's really important for any, I don't think you can go back, but moving forward, I think that that's crucial.
All right. Thank you very much.
Hey, Kathy. First off, thanks for hanging in there with us.
Yes.
I know it's
I don't
late.
have to put my child to bed, but my dog might bark because she's in here. And she was done being outside.
Okay. My question for you is, what creative, new, or fun park amenities, programs, or events should the city consider adding?
I'm sure there's tons of wonderful things that could be added. I know that, you know, we're coming off of what could you do with the budget, and then what can we add. Something that I know that had come up a while ago in a discussion that is really exciting and that I think would be amazing is bringing in a business that could partner in some way to have some sort of an outdoor activity in one of our outdoor spaces. Like if Watson Ranch has an outdoor space like up in Sacramento where they have that rock climbing park and the zip things, and that's not the city having to, well, I think they do have their role in it, but I don't think they're having to finance it all. If there's some sort of an outside group that would come in and be interested in bringing something in and it attracts people to our community, and if there's a way to partner with that, I think that would be amazing. And of course, continuing just to develop programs in our outdoor spaces. I mean, we have wonderful outdoor spaces, and I know there's lots of things that can be done out there as well that aren't being done. So those would be my couple ideas. Thank you.
Nice.
All right.
Okay. Well, Kathy, thank you very much for
You're welcome.
being part of this interview process. Appreciate you being here. Okay. We're now on to our fifth candidate, Charlie Plummer. Charlie, welcome back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Second interview round.
All right.
As we had in the last session there, we have each of us have one question each for you. And 10 minutes allocated for that interview. So this time, would you please describe your understanding of your role as an individual commissioner? The last session we had was about the commission as a whole. Now, what would be your understanding of your role as an individual commissioner?
Yeah, I think the main thing for an individual is accountability. You've got to be accountable for yourself. You got to be accountable for your commission partners. You got to be accountable for the partnerships that you create, and that involves a lot of different things that fall into the accountability thing. Whether it's communication, whether it's I tell my team all the time, if you don't show up, you're not visible, you're not relevant. So being relevant to the community in different ways, and that can be showing of support of either ambassadorship or volunteerism or whatever it is. But for me, the individualistic aspect of what you are as a contributor to the team and to the community is the fact that you need to be accountable and you need to be relevant to your position.
Thank you. My question for you is that in the next year, the city will be updating its general plan. What is the most significant issue facing the parks and recreation system?
I got to listen to everybody, and we've all talked about funding, so that's one thing we certainly can agree on. My wife and I were talking too, and we talk about participation in community activations, and we talk about this community being a lot of dual. Mom and dads both work, and so it's creating time. Time to participate, time to activate. And that's a real challenge in this city. And I'm not going to dismiss that funding is probably the number one priority, but you guys have heard that already. But we look at how do we get community involvement and what kind of activations can we create to create more involvement? Because when we look at the services that the city provides or the community provides, whether it's parks and recs, is whether it's value added or is it revenue generated? And we can expand on that with the next couple of questions. But I really think that a lot of the challenges as we grow as a community is involvement and making sure that we can continue to fund these. That's part of the funding piece is continuing to fund the activations, but make sure we have the participation that warrant the activities that we're doing, right? I'll take Mark's question about how do we fund, right?
No, it's my turn now.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miriam. I didn't want to.
I forgive you. It's round 2 and it's late. Don't worry.
It is late.
So my question to you is, please describe how you plan to engage with residents to learn about their ideas for the Parks and Recreation system. And I think this is perfect after what you just said, right? Is creating the time for the participation. So what's your plan for making that happen for us?
Again, all great ideas out there. I love social media platform, but again, we have to be realistic in saying not everybody participates in social media platforms, whether it's SurveyMonkey, Facebook, or whatever it is. So is it mailers? Is it door-to-door campaigns? Is it, what are those feedback mechanisms? I absolutely love, and I think Kathy said earlier, the direct event feedback. You have a table, you have a staffing, you have direct event feedback right then and there. And I'm all about efficacies. I'm looking for constant improvement of events. So you continue to look and search about the efficacies and efficiencies of events, whether it's from staffing, logistics, egress, ingress, services, and things of that nature. So, when I look for feedback, I look at what are the points of contacts that I can obtain feedback, and what's the general breadth of feedback that we can obtain, where to come back and compile a critical path or a recommendation for a critical path. So I think a lot of the surveying, again, you can look at all different channels of surveying, but I love the direct approach, directly at the events, what's the impact of the event, and what's the feedback from the direct consumer that day.
All right. I guess you'll never imagine what I'm going to ask you next. And I am tempted to change it up, but I won't. So how would you maintain parks and recreational services given the possibility that we might have some tight financial conditions? And give me some specific examples.
Yeah, I mean, we're dealing with crisis management at the winery we work with, and we've had to navigate through COVID, and it's something that's not short-term, it's long-term. So I think we all realize the severity of a budget downfall, and so you have to look at operating expenses, right? I said it earlier, you look at value added versus revenue generated, and you have to delineate those two, and all your events that are encompassed should fall in those two categories. And I love the idea of leagues, whether it's pickleball or softball leagues or whatever it is, because those can be revenue generated aspects of what's happening. We already have a basketball league or things that happen here, but we have other park specific resources to use. I mean, the softball league at Shenandoah is a great idea, but we have these youth baseball fields that go unused most of the time too that have lights. So why couldn't we have a co-ed, for you, Pierre, the co-ed softball league? You can get out and play co-ed softball. I'm all for that, pickleball, whatever. But again, it's value added versus revenue generated. And so if we have revenue generated leagues that can compete, East West American Canyon or Napa American Canyon, Vallejo, whatever it is, I think that's one way to create that kind of revenue. I work in limited partnerships, and I do a lot of what we call cross merchandising in the field of where I work in. And what that really means is and it's been said before, you operate with nonprofits, you operate with limited partnerships, you do community businesses. You definitely want to reach out to your community businesses because this is the incorporation of your local businesses and how they impact your community and their involvement. It generates some better income revenue streams for those types of partnerships or activations. One of the things we've done in the past when I was in Southern California is we leaned on local employers, particularly the large ones, and I know there's a couple large ones here, and we did things that they would sponsor specifically for their families, for their employee families. And I think that's a wonderful activation because it's a revenue-generated activation that the Parks and Rec, or even the ACC, or American Canyon Parks and Rec Foundation, can get involved with. But it's sponsored by the local employer that's designed to benefit the employee families. And so that's one way you can isolate that, so that way that the employer doesn't feel like, hey, I'm just giving money to put a name on a sign. It actually benefits their health and well-being of their families and their employees. And so I think there's a lot of different ways we can look at this. But to answer your question, Mark, I'd have to really sit down and assess where the revenue generation is coming from right now and what the resources look like, and then really pinpoint what types of activations we can apply to those resources, or how we can continue to use existing resources, and then whether we need to look beyond that for new partnerships or new resources for funding.
Great, thank you.
Well, Charlie, you're the closer. My question for you, what creative, new, or fun park amenities, programs, or events should the city consider adding?
Again, I get the benefit of being last. There's tons of wonderful ideas. The Watson Ranch project is going to be really cool. That Clark Ranch project, to me, is really something I think from Parks and Rec and outdoor activation can be amazing. Mr. Green before was talking about arts and music, and I'm an advocate for all of that. Again, when we were in Southern California, there was a outdoor amphitheater called the Moonlight Theater, and it was put on with a professional company. Again, you're talking about an outside company coming in and running a professional theater organization that does outdoor things. And this doesn't take anything away from us as a community. It actually employs people. Okay, there's an employment aspect to it. It's revenue generating. And our students, not just our students, because they're talented, I'm sure, and there's great programs at the school level to feed that, but even our adults, our seniors can be activated into becoming employed through this theater company too. So I like the idea of an outdoor theater that can be utilized for both, say, think about it, a summer activation of summer plays that are done with Mary Poppins or, Hello Dolly or whatever it is, these wonderful musicals that can incorporate musicians, actors, theaters, and it's all revenue generated. Plus you would have annual subscriptions to seating and blah, blah, blah. And then there's vendor revenue, there's concession revenue. There's tons of different ways to look at how we can operate that by still, minimizing the impact we're going to have on it. There's a lot of other logistics that go with parking and things like that. But I like that idea a lot because it gives us almost a signature way to call American Canyon the arts, city of the arts, or something like that. I mean, there's, like, if you look at Laguna Niguel down south, they do a thing called the Pageants of the Arts. It's this amazing event that brings in millions of dollars. We're not that, but we could aspire maybe, but we want to be mindful, again, of the impact of traffic and things like that. But I love the idea of promoting the arts, but not just for students. I think we do it for the entire community in a way we bring an outside company that's looking to build something here. And what an amazing venue that Clark Ranch could be for that type of a venue. Think about it, summer venues, and then even winter activations can be done there too for holiday musicals or whatever it is. There's tons of application for it, but all revenue generating.
Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
All right, well, thank you, Charlie.
Thank you, Leon.
Being part of the second round.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your
consideration.
All right, very good. We'll be in touch. Okay, council, we need to deliver our ranking worksheet for round 2 to city clerk.
The bad thing about having so many candidates is it's so hard to choose.
Yes, it is. And frankly, I'd rather have having to make hard choices is what we do. The alternative is not having enough people interested in wanting to do this. It's just really impressive this time around to see this many applicants.
So are we going into recess now, or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we'll go to recess, please.
It's going to take me a few minutes to decide.
I know what you mean, Mark. Yeah. How about all of the above?
Terry, are you ready to take some results? Call mine in.
Yes, we are waiting on you. You're the last.
Bit of a challenging decision, huh? With that much talent. Wow.
Mayor and Council, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yep,
Do we have the others there? Leon, Mark.
I'm here.
So we have a bit of an interesting result that's going to require a little bit of contemplation upon your part. It's not going to be a necessarily simple answer. Wait for Mayor and Miriam. Miriam, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay. My screen is at this point. Actually, Chair, you can
I'm here just catching up with Cherry. Apparently.
All right.
Jason was explaining it, so.
Yeah, Chair, you can unshare the screen there, and we'll go back to the regular Brady Bunch. Here we go. All right, so Cherry has tabulated the results, and I've done a QA/QC little spreadsheet on it, and the council interviewed 5 candidates for 3 positions on PCS, the 3 vacancies. We had 1 top vote getter, and then we have a 3-way tie for places, the 2nd place and 3rd place. So essentially, we don't have unanimity on that 2nd and 3rd place, and so wanted to throw this back to the council for some discussion. Given the hour of the evening, I'm not sure we're in a place to continue on with subsequent questions and the formulation of additional content. Although we can, and that's certainly a possibility. Wasn't sure what the temperature of the council was.
Well,
Why not just resurvey with the, or rather, express our preferences out of the 3, eliminate the tie, the 3-way tie.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I was thinking is if we have a top contender, he or she is in, then we, maybe we do another tabulation based on the other 3 and figure out who's number 2 and number 3 out of that.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
I, for one, I'm splitting hairs when I'm deciding who's 2, 3, and 4. So,
sure.
Yeah, really, it's very close. I agree, Mark.
All right. So, what I'm going to propose, just from a procedural perspective, is I'm going to have Cherry make a list of the 2, 3, and 4 place finishers, which were all a tie, or call it a 3-way tie for 2nd and 3rd, I guess. And so I'm going to have her put that list together along with who the top finisher was. And we're just going to continue the sequence where we have you call and talk to her. She will reveal to each of you individually what that ranking is. And then you can tell her, what your new, your quote unquote new 2, 3, 4 looks like.
Sounds good.
Is that acceptable to everyone?
Yes.
Okay, so just give us a few moments, and I'll have Sherry put that list together, and then she'll start taking calls. So just give us a few moments for that, please.
Sure.
Jason, can you tell us who the number 1 was?
All right.
Well, I think we should do that all
I
at
was
once.
gonna.
Yeah.
I was gonna wait, Pierre, if that's okay.
Okay, no, that's fine. That's
I
fine.
think we wait.
I think we'll find out when we call into
You-
Cherry. She'll,
Yes, you-
she'll tell us individually off camera so that.
Correct.
Well, yeah, for members of the public, it's better if we do that all at one time.
That's fine.
I think that would be a good.
Playing who is 1, 2, and 3, or who is 3 are.
Because when we identify it for the public, we actually won't identify it as 1, 2, 3. It'll just be 3. So
I just spoke. I just said these are the top 3.
yeah. So okay, Chair and I are going to caucus a few moments, and then we'll start taking calls.
Very
Thank you. I'll call you, Chair.
All right. This just shows you what a tight race it was.
It's just great to have that amount of people interested with that amount of talent. It's just
Exactly. So, and it reinforces the idea that these are tough decisions when this close.
yeah. Well, it speaks to keeping those who expressed an interest in serving engaged.
Mm-hmm.
For the betterment of the community. There's always work to be done out there.
Yep. Yeah, that's the secret. Everybody who applied, we need to reach out to and make sure they stay engaged.
Exactly.
There's some people that I'm thinking of reaching out to at the community group level to say, what about joining the Arts Foundation? What about joining Kiwanis?
Kiwanis, yeah, all of that.
So we'll reuse this as a recruitment tool.
Yes, they will. I've got a few things on my list that
Yeah.
I've been inquiring about too. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Excuse me while I stretch.
Whoever would like to call me first, I'm ready.
I will do it.
I'll go after David. Mute yourself. Never.
Next, I'm done.
All right, I'll give you a call, Cherry.
Okay. I'm ready for council member.
Hi. I'm calling you now.
Waiting on Miriam.
All right, I'm calling you now.
All right, thanks.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Miriam, you're there? Yes, you are. Hi.
Hi, I'm here.
All right, I think, Mark, are you there?
I'm here.
Okay, good. All right, got everybody's here. Okay, we have results, please.
Yes, the three candidates selected, Clarence, Gina, and Kathy.
All right.
All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. You know, I would like to extend on behalf of the council, a thank you to all those who applied. You know, this is a challenging process in a very good way tonight, because there's a lot of exceptional people out there with a lot of talent that they can contribute to the betterment of our community. And I congratulate those who were selected. Appreciate the work you've done. Those who have not, please be engaged in the community. There are many, many things that need to be done in American Canyon, and your contribution would be vital to assuring that we build community, because that's what we're about. So I know I expect there'll be some outreach to you who are not selected to find ways you can contribute, and that would be very appreciated. Okay, well, council, we have concluded our business for the evening. Thank you for hanging in there. It's been a rather long evening.
Yeah.
Good work done. So we are adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.